then the foreigner can go to the one-stop service center with a smartphone and download application which is called Thailand Digital Work Permit, and then pay the fee, which is 10,000 baht, and provide a digital signature, taking the photo, and then the officer will give the foreigner the username and password to access the digital work permit. And the foreigner will get the stamp of the re-entry permit and long-term visa without the need to separate filling out the form TM7 or TM8, which is, I think, is very convenient and good, but unfortunately it's very limited. And the next thing is about the immigration and working under the EEC Act. The EEC Act is very new because it was issued on 14th of May. Is prescribed that in the wide scope. So I checked with the officer and they said it's still impossible to do it because we still need to wait for the regulation prescribing on how to do it. But nowadays we have just only the act, not the regulation. And the officer said maybe it will be like 3 months to see, maybe the regulation will be issued. And I had a chance to discuss with Stephen, and he said, when the officer said 3 months, it will be take like 6 months. So we will see about that. And the profit on the immigration and working of foreigner under the EEC Act, I would like to say that EEC Act is for the company, the foreigner who will work for the company established in Rayong, Chonburi, Cheongsa province, that is EEC area, will be benefit for the matters prescribed in the EEC Act. And one of that benefit is about the immigration and work permit issue, working issue. For example, if the foreigner would like to come and work for the employer established in the EEC area, once he applies and grant for the non-immigrant visa, he enters Thailand, and before working, he will not need to go to the Department of Employment to apply for the work permit, but he need to go to the office of EEC Secretary General instead in order to get the approval letter. And in case of renewal of the visa and the approval letter, he can just go directly to the EEC Secretary General. So it's kind of convenience. You don't need to go to many authorities. You just only go to the office of EEC Secretary General. But as I said, it's very new, so we need to follow up on this matter. Welcome to the common issue when applying for work permit and visa. The first thing is about the inconsistency of the employer document. Normally when the employer provided the document to me, maybe they do not check about the consistency. For example, the list the withholding tax return of all employees do not have the same name or different name as stated in the list of contribution to Social Security Fund. So the employer must amend it. And the list of shareholders does not state the fully paid up or registered capital. This is the problem for the small company like limited registered capital, like for example 2 million baht. If you does not state, if the company does not state fully paid up, it will be like maybe some thousand baht or 1 million, so it's not possible to apply. And for example, and the financial statement is not updated according to the details information stated in the company's affidavit. And the last one is about the lack of the certain license or VAT legislation. This is what I want to share about my experience. I had a client who set up the new company, and he would like to obtain the work permit. So okay, we go there to apply. We went there to apply for the work permit, and since we has not yet obtained the VAT registration, we therefore provide them with the letter of explanation why we cannot provide them the VAT registration, because actually the VAT registration is not obligated for the newly company. It's only obligated for the company who provides service and earn the income from 1.8 million baht. So that company is required to register the VAT. So this is the case that okay, we need to be in hurry, and we don't have time to provide the documents to apply for the VAT registration. So we went there with the documents required except for the VAT registration, but we provided the list of the document, the letter, explanation letter instead. And I was lucky at that time because the officer accepted that. But there was the other time also I was not lucky again, because the officer requested me to provide the VAT registration, and I said that previously I used to deal with the Department of Employment, and I provided the letter of explanation, and it was acceptable, and then the emphasis in the description, and it's not acceptable for him. So okay, we have to waste the time, come back and register for the VAT, prepare lots of paperwork and submitted the for the VAT registration, and come back to apply for the work permit for said employees. So it wastes the time. And there was one case, one client, the company engaged in transportation business, and in order to obtain the transportation license, it takes so long time, many months, could be like year if they so demanding of the Department of Transportation. So at that case, we set up the new company, we register the VAT, but the company in fact did not yet commence the transportation business yet. But the company would like to apply for the work permit for the foreigner, just only like the general work, like admin work, for example, or the director. And we went to apply for the work permit for the foreigner, and the officer asked for the transportation license. And then we said that, but it took like many months to go, and now we just need to apply the work permit under the position director for him. And then he said, the officer said, so it's not possible. So at that time, we have to find a solution. And I found that the officer just compared the business operation from the details registered with the revenue department, that is the VAT registration. So at that time, we solved the problem by revising the VAT registration and revise about the detailed business from the transportation business to be like the importation, import-export, which does not specifically require for the license. So after we made it, we can get the work permit. Yeah, but it takes time anyway. So I think it's kind of headache to deal with the immigration and Department of Employment, because they have so much description. And the next is about the expiration of the documents. For example, the employer provide the company's affidavit in excess of the 6 months, which normally the officer requires just only less than 6 months. And sometimes when the company would like to apply for the work permit or visa on the 7 days, the company will need to provide additional documents, which is withholding tax return and new VAT returns. Why they need additional documents? Because this kind of document are required to be submitted to the revenue department. The deadline is on the 7th. So if the foreigner plan to apply for the work permit visa on that day, so it means that you need to bring the new submission form to be submitted to the officer also. But actually it's impossible, if if the company submitted this kind of form to the revenue office in the morning and make the copy, certified copy in the morning and give the foreigner in the afternoon, it is impossible because normally you have to stay so long time in the Department of Employment or Immigration. So I think it is recommended to avoid this kind of date, except the company submitted this kind of form maybe at the first of the month or second, not by the deadline. And the last one is the same, it's about on the 15th day, which is the deadline for the company to submit the list of contribution submission to the Social Security. So I think it is advised to just avoid to submit the document, the application during these days. We'll come to the common pitfalls when hiring foreign employees. Actually, I have I have some experience on this about the common pitfall. For example, I have one client who engaged in IHQ company, and the company would like to hire the foreigner under the post, which is designer. But at that time, I advised to the client that maybe the position designer may be not acceptable because the designer is not relevant to the IHQ business. And the client said that maybe we could try. And then we try, and of course, it's not acceptable for the officer. So then we come back and revise the position and to be the chef, the marketing chef officer. So it is possible now because it can go with the IHQ company. So it means that the applied post must be in line with the business objective of the company also. Otherwise, there will be some thing that the officer would like you to correct. And okay, for next is about the foreigner forget to notify the immigration of each 90 days stay consecutively. I understand this because many foreigners just go in and out for many times, so maybe they forget about this application already. So when foreigners stay in Thailand for consecutively, they forget. It could happen on this. And next is about upon the change of residence or working place, even for the same employer, the work permit must be amended. They may think that why they have to change because they work in the same employer. But if the work permit stated the working place just in Bangkok, but later on the employer would like to extend to another province like Chonburi, the foreigner must amend the work permit also. And the next, the foreigner does not work according to the details specified in the work permit. So this could happen like the foreigner apply for the director post, but in fact they just go to the shop and acting like seller, which is not acceptable at all. And also upon early termination of the work, the foreigner forget to cancel the visa. So when they continue after the termination of work, it means that the person stay in Thailand illegally. And also for the employer, they forget to inform the Department of Employment on the cancellation of the work permit within 15 days. If the employer does not do so, In addition to the fine, if the employer would like to employ additional foreigner, it may not be possible because this is the problem. Just only the small size of company with limited registered capital and the ratio type foreigner, because if the employer does not inform the DOE to cancel the work permit of the previous employee, so the DOE still have the system that this quota 2 million baht and 1 per 4 still maintained in the system, and DOE think that this quota used for the ex-employee, so it means that the new employee cannot be applied for the work permit. So this is the issue that my clients normally face about this. So yeah, I think I come to the end of my presentation, and it is end of the talk already for my presentation, and I would love to hear the experience from you. If you have something different than me, yeah, I'm happy to hear that. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, our speaker can take questions from the floor.
Yes.
Foreign trainees, if you bring them in for 6 months in your hospitality business, do they need to have a full work permit?
6 months, the
Yeah.
training.
A foreign trainee, like from a hotel school in Europe, you bring them in to work in the hotel, the reception or the service for 6 months period. Do we need to obtain a work permit?
Yes.
Full, and have to pay a minimum salary under the salary
Yes.
quota?
Yes, because our office engaged trainee from USA also, and we have to do like that, like a normal person working.
So you have to pay them a minimum for the quota of that country.
Yes.
Second question, is the government still giving out permanent residencies?
The permanent residents?
Are they still giving out at the moment or not? Can you still apply or cannot?
I mean, you mean for the residents?
Yeah,
But actually, you have to wait for the quota.
per country.
Yes. So if certain year there is no announcement on the quota, you are not able to apply for the residence. So it need to wait for that.
When they normally announce quota?
October to December. So you have to make the
At the end of the year.
yes. Okay. Yes. Please.
Can you get back to the slide with the table and the green color? I would like to see which decision or occupation no need to apply for the work permit. The most updated one, the green one that you showed me.
The first one or?
No, yes, almost of the slides.
This one?
Yeah, I think this one.
This is the urgent work, urgent
Yes.
and necessary work.
Yes.
Yeah, that's not need to apply for the work permit, but the foreigner is required to notify the authority before commencement.
Yes, but there is a limit only 15 days, right?
Yes.
That is the case in my office, that there's some expat from London coming working for 1 month according to their visas. We know it's not the right, but we hardly find a solution. For example, the position could be accountant or others, not technician or whatever. This is.
Well, actually, this one they said that if it's regarded as the urgency work permit, normally it must be completed within 15 days. But if it cannot be completed within 15 days, the company may apply for the extension by another 15 days.
The maximum only in altogether.
Actually 15 and 15, but if you go that you just want 30 days, it's not impossible. You have to declare first that 15 days.
15 days and extend another 15 days. That is maximum.
Yes.
So in this case, they need the working visa, right? In this case, to
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
So even this urgent, still they have to go through the process of getting the working visa, and then for this.
Yes, but actually I had one case also before. because it's urgent, so they come with the tourists. And at that time, but at that time, my client can get but it's the previous law. And at that time, my client can just notify because we just said that is the urgent and necessary work, so we cannot plan before. So we come with urgency matter, and at that time, yes, they agree with the tourist visa. But I would not recommend actually, because actually the description of the officer at that time, yeah, we had the luck also. But I think it should make sense if it's the urgent, you come with the tourist. I agree with you too. It should be like that.
Right. Thank you.
Could you just come to your very last slide, please? Just on point 1, 2, 3, 4, to get to apply for a re-entry visa before leaving and then coming back. Can you explain that one, please?
For example, when the foreigner applied for the visa, maybe outside Thailand, and get the 3 months of visa with single entry. Yes, when they enter Thailand, if they do not apply for the re-entry permit, it means that when they go, they have to go, they cannot come back.
Sure. So you could have applied for a multi-entry
Multiple,
and it
yes.
would have been okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that's what I thought. Okay. And then some of the rumours that tourists arriving at Swanepoel are being asked nowadays to give proof that they have 20,000 baht for spending money on arrival. And some people have been rejected supposedly. Do you know anything about any ruling that you have to show some financial funds? Not those coming to work for a visa, but those on a tourist visa.
Tourist?
Yeah.
For the tourist, I didn't hear about that the foreigner, you mean that the foreigner must have cash
Or
with
evidence
you?
of this. There's a lot in social media about it at the moment. It's come up in the last
it
week.
is possible, but actually I could not remember about the amount. It's like when I go to the other country and apply for the visa for the other country, I need to provide the proof of financial that I will be able to stay in that country. So I think it will be the same also if the tourists would like to come to Thailand, but I don't know about, I'm not aware of the amount of the money that they have to carry and show to the authority that they are able to stay in Thailand.
Are there any further questions for our speaker?
I have one question. What is the current status of 90 days reporting online? It has been probably, no. I remember 12 years back, I was doing online 90 days reporting in Pattaya, where I was working for Royal Cliff Beaches. And then suddenly later, after some time, nobody is doing online, and immigration is silent about it.
Even our clients also, they still report. Not online. They report.
Some time back, I was checking regularly, and it was only available if you are using Internet Explorer browser. Very old, dilapidated version. Version 5 or less. And later what happened?
We always have a problem, so that's why all our clients prefer to just in person notify, but can grant the proxy to notify, like give the passport and to notify to the
I was
immigration
checking on
office.
my smartphone right now just to ask the question, and I was surprised to see it now works on Google Chrome, all new browsers. Right? That's a good news, I think. Probably. A lot of people don't know, because it's a big problem. It's a big problem. And a lot of people, expats, end up paying fines. Now I think I have just not seen it. There's a microsite, it's called extranet.immigration.go.ph. Now that perfectly works, but I don't know, it opens up and you have to submit it, you have to check, really whether it works. But I have also seen a complaint from the person, already there is a complaint that it's not working.
I think it's normal that it's not work. Even in the law, for example, that is about the immigration and the depart for the work permit also. There is the law said that from now the person may be able to apply for the work permit online, but when I check it's still impossible. So yeah, I think Thailand is now in improving the system, and I cannot really answer when it will be perfect or correctly function for all foreigners. Yeah.
I think it should, probably guys like you should suggest the officers.
Yeah, if I have chance to talk to them, yeah, I will just.
Because it's a real waste of time to go to all the way to Changwon and crisscrossing the traffic and
I can
almost
say
all
from the
the whole
perspective
day.
of the British Chamber of Commerce, this issue has regularly been raised by us, but the Immigration Department show no flexibility whatsoever. The only comment is it's necessary in the interest of security that foreigners confirm their addresses every 90 days. We cannot get any concession out of them on this issue whatsoever.
Can you go back to EEC slide? Is this apply only 10S curve industry? Yes. But it's still not function yet because still need for the regulation. Okay. So I think I wonder if he will ask me in Thai. Okay, ค่ะ
อยากจะถามว่าอย่างนี้ครับกรณีที่ปัจจุบันเนี่ยต่างชาติที่มี work permit อยู่แล้วแต่ปัจจุบันอยู่เป็นข้อยกเว้นของพรก.ตัวนี้ครับตัว work permit ปัจจุบันต้องทำยังไงครับ cancel ไหมครับหรือว่ายังใช้ต่อไปครับ
ทำไมถึงข้อยกเว้นพรก.ค่ะเขาทำงานอะไร
อันนี้เขาหมายถึงว่าที่เป็นสำนักงานผู้แทนสำนักงานสาขาเนี่ยค่ะที่เป็นกฎหมายออกมาอย่างเงี้ยค่ะแล้วก็คือคนที่ได้อยู่แล้วเนี่ยก็คือต้องต่อรถมีปกติที่มีไลเซนส์ปกติแต่คนที่ปัจจุบันที่ออกมาที่ยกเว้นไม่ต้องขออะไรยกเว้นไม่ต้องขอ FBM อย่างเงี้ยค่ะอย่างเงี้ยคือเขาขอรถมีไม่ได้เลยใช่ไหม
เขาได้รับการยกเว้นแต่จริงๆแล้วถ้าเขาอยากจะขอเขาขอได้ค่ะแต่ว่ากฎหมายเนี่ยเขายกเว้นเอาไว้ว่าคนพวกนี้เนี่ยไม่จำเป็นจะต้องมาขอต่อ
หมายถึงว่าหมดอายุก็ไม่จำเป็นต้องต่อใช่ไหมครับ
ไม่ถ้าหมดอายุก็หมายถึงบุคคลมิตใช่ไหมคะไม่ใช่วีซ่าใช่ไหมคือไม่จำเป็นต้องต่อแต่ควรจะต้องไปแจ้งอย่างน้อยก็ต้องไปคืนเล่มมาค่ะแต่เข้าใจว่าคือไอเนี้ยมันเนื่องจากมันเป็นกฎหมายใหม่นะก็เลยตอนเนี้ยตัวดุลพินิจของเจ้าหน้าที่อะค่ะมันยังไม่นิ่ง
เพราะว่าถ้าสมมติเขาอยากทำงานแต่คือไม่ได้มีที่กฎหมายใหม่ว่าไม่ต้องขอ FBL อย่างเงี้ยค่ะที่เป็นสำนักงานสาขา
สำนักงานผู้แทน
ใช่
สาขายังต้องขออยู่
สำนักงานผู้แทนอย่างเงี้ยแล้วอย่างเงี้ยคือเขามาขอ work permit ไม่ได้เลยทุกกรณีหรือว่า
ไม่เฉพาะ manager ที่ไม่ต้องขอ work permit แต่หน้าที่อื่นๆเจ้าหน้าที่อื่นๆต้องขอ work permit อยู่
แล้วอย่างนี้ถ้า manager ไม่ขอแล้วตอนต่อวีซ่า
ถ้าตอนแต่แป๊บนึงนะคะเมื่อกี้ที่บอกว่าเมื่อกี้ที่เขาบอกว่าเขายกเว้น work permit ให้เฉพาะกรณีที่ foreign entity ได้รับใบอนุญาตแต่ถ้า regional office เขาไม่ได้รับอนุญาตเขายังต้องขอ work permit อันนี้เขาเข้าใจไหมคะคือถ้าเขาได้รับใบอนุญาตอย่างเมื่อกี้ที่ยกตัวอย่าง regional representative office เนี่ยมันไม่ต้องขอใบอนุญาตเลยฉะนั้นเมื่อเขาไม่ต้องขอใบอนุญาตภายใต้ FBA เขายังต้องกลับมาขอ work permit อยู่ทุกระดับของคนต่างด้าวทุกระดับของการจ้างงาน
แล้วถ้าเขาได้ FBL
เขาไม่ต้องขอ work permit
เฉพาะ manager
เขาจะขอวีซ่าได้ไหม
FBL เฉพาะ branch ที่ไม่ใช่บริษัทจัดตั้งภายใต้กฎหมายไทยนะคะ ต้องเป็น branch เท่านั้น
แล้วเขาจะขอวีซ่าได้ไหมคะ
ขอวีซ่ามาจากที่นู่นหรือว่าขอต่อที่นี่คะ
คือตมเขารับรู้ไหมกับหลักเกณฑ์ตรงนี้
อันเนี้ยคือปัญหาเวลาไปเนี่ยเราจะต้องไปพร้อมกฎเคยมีปัญหาเหมือนกันตอนที่เลฟออฟฟิศน่ะถูกยกเลิกใบอนุญาตเราตัวเจ้าหน้าที่อ่ะเขายังไงเขาก็จะขอดูลายเส้นแล้วลายเส้นเนี่ยเราก็บอกว่ามันไม่มีแล้วเพราะมันยกเลิกไปแล้ว เราก็เลยเอากฎหมายไปโชว์ให้เขาดูแล้วเขาก็เข้าไปคุยกันภายในประมาณครึ่งชั่วโมงแล้วก็ออกมาแล้วก็โอเคฉะนั้นเนี่ยถามว่ารับรู้ไหมอันเนี้ยไม่แน่ใจว่าเขารู้กันหรือเปล่าแต่ว่าเราต้องนำกฎหมายไปด้วย
Are there any more questions? Okay, well, can I perhaps formally wrap up the meeting for the moment? We're heading towards closing time. If any of you wish to have separate discussions with our speaker afterwards, provided she's available to stay, then maybe that can take place as well. And there's certainly a few bottles of wine still unopened at the back of the room, if you'd like to indulge in that. Can I say thank you very much to our distinguished speaker this evening. The law and procedure regarding work permits and visas is frankly an absolute nightmare, particularly for a lay person who isn't familiar with the processes here. The rules seem to change quite arbitrarily. There is an enormous amount of discretion invested in the civil servants that apply the law. And frankly, the only realistic way out of this is to employ someone who knows their way around the rules and can give you a good service and ensure that you get your work permit and visa processed as quickly as possible. So can I ask for, please, a round of applause for our distinguished speaker this evening. Thank you very much for coming along to the British Chamber this evening, and we hope to interest you in our other events in the future. Thank you.
Oh yes, it is. Yes, it is.